Welcome back to our first live show since the 2025 NFL Draft concluded. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. I got my guy Loco Lopez on the ones and twos. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. We got a lot of great content headed your way. Saints have a lot of pressing needs after the 2025 NFL Draft. You made 9 selections, addressed a lot of positions in need, but there's a one glaring one, and that is the wide receiver position. So for today's video, I have 10 wide receivers that the Saints could potentially go and sign. We're also going to dive into some trade targets, and then, of course, we're going to answer questions using hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat. Y'all have questions, we have answers, and we want to respond to y'all's hot takes. But welcome into Saints now. Let me hear you say, stay golden. And for what it's worth, Isaiah, I saw you say you went to school with a Courtney Burgess, but it was a Coco. I'm pretty sure Queen Courtney in the chat knows the person you were talking about. For what it's worth, I'm about 99.99999% positive, because Isaiah, I think you also knew a couple people I grew up with. Funny enough, I grew up in the area. In case you didn't know that, it's a really small world for sure. But hit me with the stay golden. I see Isaiah. I see Queen Courtney. I see Mr. Filmer, Jerry G, Nightmare, Troy Rivers, Young City, 9th Ward, Keith, Jerry G. Of course, you can be a moderator, brother. I'm going to make you one right now. I'm going to make you one because you being a moderator will make my life so much easier, because I know you're going to be there for every single game day. I know you're going to be here for every live show. And honestly, Jerry, the only thing I need from you, don't go silencing other fans. If they're being assholes, fine. But I don't need you silencing and muting other people. If we see the bots in the chat, that's who I need you to mute them and ban them. That's the goal. That's the main thing right there. So Jerry G, shout out to you. You are now a moderator. He's been supporting the show for a long time. It's overdue, to be totally honest. But Jerry's never a rude guy. We don't need to take away the Falcons fans that come in. That's going to happen. We don't need to mute everybody who has different opinions than us. Just mute the bots, and if people are being total buttholes, you can mute them too, of course. Jerry G, you're the man. Jaden, Ron, what's going on, Ron? Hope you're doing well. My friend DJ Chark is a good choice. We do talk about DJ Chark, so stick around, Ron. Brian, I see you in the chat. Jerry G, I know you're going to behave, my man. Jaden, appreciate you for tuning in as always. Let's get to the next question here, Lopez. Thank you for everyone to tuning in. Name a wide receiver you want the New Orleans Saints to sign in free agency. You still have a handful of cash to spend, but I want to hear from you. What should they do? Who should they spend some cheddar on? Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen.
Bring me Michael Thomas. I want Michael Thomas.
Lopez wants Michael Thomas.
I want it for the plot.
For the plot.
That's all it would be, for the plot.
Just for the storyline of it would be so
exactly.
great. All of the drama.
We're not going to be great.
Hard Knocks would have to come to New Orleans.
Exactly. Michael Thomas might beat up Derek Carr. He might.
He might fist fight Derek Carr. That would actually. They should have Michael Thomas and Derek Carr open up for Dustin Poirier's final fight that's in New Orleans. That would be electric. That would be electric.
They might be able to sell that as the main event.
They could sell that. They could give the money to charity. It would be really cool. Derek Carr gets back in good graces. Michael Thomas gets to fight. I think we're on to something here, Lopez. We're on to something. I think it'd be pretty lit. Keenan Allen or Mike Thomas from Buck. Keenan Allen. I see a lot of Mike Thomases, actually. Jerry G says, the latest I heard, Keenan Allen. No Tamari Cooper. I went to Boyd High School, though. That's how I knew. Isaiah, I think that's who it is. I'm pretty sure the person you're talking about also went to Boyd. I'm pretty sure Queen Courtney in the chat knows the person you're talking about. I'm not trying to dox people's names.
You're really trying to work around not doxing.
Yeah, I'm trying, but it is what it is. Yep, Courtney, there it is. Yep, that's me. There you go. What up, Trizzy? What's going on, U.S. champ? I see Keenan Allen, DJ Chark, Mike Thomas, Elijah Moore. Anybody? Nobody said Elijah Moore. I think people forget he's a free agent as well. Althea, R.I.P. indeed. R.I.P. indeed. That was Lopez's guy as well. He wanted us to draft him big time. Went to LSU as well.
It would have worked.
Yeah, I think it would have worked big time, actually. I would have loved that. Moochie Dixon from Sergio. Where would he got Moochie Dixon? What up? You here? What's going on, brother? We need a big receiver from Zion Williamson. Go sign Zion to be a tight end. Let him just operate over the middle.
Okay,
This is Jimmy Graham. This is just the Jimmy Graham 2.0.
His knees can't handle a basketball court. The first time he gets cut under, he's
First
done.
time somebody runs into him, his knees are
fucked.
imploding. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alrighty, we got some good wide receiver ideas in the chat, but I want to hear from you next. It's showtime. I want you to like the video. Currently, we have 123 people watching. We only have 22 likes. What the hell is that? We can't start today's program until we get to at least 60 likes. We need to get to 60 likes right now, so drop a like on today's video. It's showtime! If you guys are ready to talk about some New Orleans Saints news, rumors, anything in between, I need you to hit the thumbs up icon and like today's video. It gets more Saints fans in the chat too, and more Saints fans means more fun. So hit the thumbs up icon and like this video. 32 likes. We need to get to 60 ASAP. Jordan says Allen would be solid. Cooks was a sneaky pickup that was underrated as well. I agree with you, Sergio. I want to see him on the first team, not backup. Who are you talking about? Wasn't Danny Stutzman projected in the second? I don't think he was projected to be a second, like a third or fourth, though, for sure. Trade Derek Carr for George Pickens. Interesting. Hunter Renfrow, he is on the Panthers. George Pickens from Abel. Elijah Moore from John. Brandon Ingram at wide receiver. He can't stay healthy either.
He's also in Toronto.
Yeah, so that doesn't help. Zion to the Saints right now? No, Jaden. No.
You're going to kill
we were just
two
having
franchises.
some fun. It is not a real possibility. Jahan Dotson, he would have to get traded, wouldn't he? He got traded to...
Last I heard, he was on Philly, I believe.
Yeah, he got traded from the Commanders to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So
I think he was on their Super Bowl team.
He was on the Super Bowl roster. So maybe that's actually not a terrible idea. But I also don't see why they traded for him. Why would they want to get rid of him? Who knows? I don't know. Kyron, you're good, man. Queen Courtney, shout out to you. Nathaniel, question: what are y'all thinking about the arena football route? Then trying for the NFL? I mean, if you can work up the ranks, that's sick, man. Nathaniel, I think that'd be sick. But to be totally honest, I'm not really looking to build my roster in the Arena Football League. I'd rather get guys in the draft or the undrafted free. Like, to be honest, I'd rather roll with an undrafted free agent than a guy to the Arena Football League. And before the Arena Football League, I'd go UFL. Just more direct pipeline of talent, if you ask me. We're 12 likes away. Can we get to 60 for the love of God? 60 likes. That's where we need to get. Come on. If we can't get to 60 likes, then we do not get to start the show. Lopez and I'll just film all 3 videos, and we won't have any sort of live interaction. That's just what it'll have to be, I guess. Lopez, everyone wanted to have so much fun in the draft, and now they're just, decided, well, it's over, so I'm done too. Nope, that's not how it works
I'm
here.
going to have to get my mailbag questions ready.
I
It's
know.
just going to be me.
I know. It's just going to be
I will be the
Lopez
mailbag.
is going to be asking the mailbag questions. Carter, what about Henry Ruggs? I mean, if everything checks out, he's all cleared, and eventually he is able to return to the league, we can I can have that conversation. But until then, the answer is no, because he legally cannot go to the National Football League. I'm pretty sure he's either still on house arrest or he's in prison. So, not really interested in Henry Ruggs right now. That being said, if things change, we can have a conversation about it. But it's showtime. We got to 62 likes. All right. Friendly reminder, use hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat if you want to get in on the program. We're going to have a mailbag here later on where me and my guy Loco Lopez are going to be answering questions or reacting to hot takes, trade ideas, any sort of stuff like that. So if you guys have questions, if you guys have ideas that you want to talk about, if you have discussion topics, let us know. Our content reached over 1 million people over the last month. Clap it up, guys. 1 million people over the last month. So if you want 1 million Saints fans to see what you got to say over the next month, use hashtag Saints, or better yet, send in a super chat to get your questions in. If you don't use hashtag Saints or super chat, just for what it's worth, our software does not recognize it, so you have to use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat to ask a question. Hashtag Saints is 100% free. If you want to send in a tip and donate to the program, do the super chat function. Isaiah is saying Saints need to get a big body wide receiver. Tyler Shuck, wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks. Ja'Cory Brooks, he got signed somewhere as a UDFA. Where was it? Ja'Cory Brooks, the Commanders. He signed with the Commanders as an undrafted free agent, which total miss on the Saints' part, by the way.
Yeah.
Total fucking miss.
They had a couple misses in the UDFA class.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't love this UDFA class.
No.
Normally, I'm like, okay, this is sneaky. Like, there's normally like 2 or 3. I'm like, yo, I like this a lot. Like, last year, for me, it was Rico Payton. Loved Rico Payton. And then Jermaine Johnson, I believe it was. The year prior, I was huge on Rashid Shaheed. I was right. Or I guess 2 years prior. Point being, when Rashid Shaheed was in there, I was right. I don't love this one. I don't love this UDFA class, to be honest. I really like Marcus Yarns. I think that's a nice pickup. It's kind of it for me.
Even like the Marcus Yarns thing, like
it's like
I think if we're gonna turn to a running back, I'm more excited to see what Devin Neal has.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. Devin Neal was a total steal. You're totally right, Jacavion. Yeah, this UDFA class just doesn't do it for me. It's just big miss. The fact that you had the quarterback that you drafted round 2, you had his number 1 wide receiver available, and you didn't go and get him. Ridiculous. He's 6'3". Why would you not go and get him? That's so dumb. So dumb. Unless it comes out that the Saints tried to go and get him, and the Commanders just won the bidding war, or he just wanted to go to Washington for whatever. Like, if that's how it is, because with the undrafted free agents, you do get to pick where you go, but I don't know. I think if the Saints didn't even try, that's just stupid. Should have tried. Alrighty, friendly reminder, #Saints, send in the super chat. We're going to get into the content. We're starting off with some trade targets. 5 trade targets. Some would call it blockbuster. Some would call it major trade rumors. Some would call it something else. You know what I call it? Not clickbait, because it's rumors. It's not real. It's rumors. Rumors got to start somewhere, man. Sorry, just had to get a sip of water. No, I mean, obviously, a lot of people say we do clickbait and stuff. We do provide a lot of news. We do provide a lot of speculation and rumors. And at the end of the day, that's what we do. It's a part of our content strategy. People watch that type of content. If you think it's stupid, well, it gets numbers, and people tune into it. And it's not like we're sitting here saying, yeah, the Saints are trading for Patrick Mahomes. It's 100% going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. We're going to talk about realistic trade targets the Saints could potentially pursue. Some of them are big ticket, very expensive players. Some of them, not as much, but we're going to talk about them here in today's video. Queen Courtney signed Anthony Schwartz, the speedy receiver out of Auburn. Maybe. I just don't think we need more speed. I think you need size. I don't think we need speed. I think we need size. Size and length is what I'm looking for. Giggity. Alrighty. Keith, get Garrett Wilson out of New York. I mean, I just don't see the Jets ever letting him walk out of there. He's so good. Yeah, he's about to get big time paid. I mean, that is the kind of, like, if you want to give him like a really nice offer before they have the chance to pay him, maybe that's the route you go.
But then you would have to pay him.
Exactly. Then you're stuck paying him and Chris Olave, by the way, in the same offseason. Right? They've got the same offseason, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they got the
same draft. Yeah. So you have to pay them both.
Yeah. It's not happening.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
That being said, would be really cool. All right, let's dive into it. Saints trade targets, major trade rumors. Let's dive on in. Lopez, whenever you're ready, brother. Let's hit it. You're good. Are the ties on?
No, I clicked into something that was read-only.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. What's going on, Saints fans? We got some major trade rumors today here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. I'm going to give you 5 trade targets of players that are actually on the trade block and that could potentially find their way to the New Orleans Saints. Now, we're not talking about Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. We're not talking about something crazy like that. But we are talking about some big-ticket players and some interesting options that the New Orleans Saints should at least consider, and players that could fill some positions in need. The Saints made a lot of good draft picks, but they still have one glaring need, and in my opinion, that is a big-bodied wide receiver. So let's start off right there. George Pickens, wide receiver. That's the first trade target that we're going to discuss on today's video. I think that this could be an interesting option. I think George Pickens is a really good football player, and I think that he is a guy that if you can put him in a good culture and you can put him in an area with good leadership, then he's going to be a player that can really do some good things for the long term. Like I said, the Saints have a glaring need at wide receiver, especially a guy like George Pickens, who could just be a playmaker, to be totally honest. And of course, he's not this super jacked, huge, big-bodied dude, but he is a physical playmaker that is a contested catch freak. He is just a ridiculously good, catcher of the football. There are some questions around the maturity and the character of George Pickens, and the big question is, do the Steelers even want to trade him? Because there was trade rumors around his name before the NFL draft. The Steelers inevitably did not trade him, and there's also a lot of chatter between getting George Pickens, the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and also Pittsburgh didn't even draft a wide receiver this year. So, would they even want to trade him? I don't know. But if he's on the trade block like he was before the draft, I'm interested. 6'3", 200 pounds, only 24 years old. To me, that's nice. I kind of like that. And he's a player who had over 1,000 yards in 2023. And, for the Saints, I think putting him next to Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed could be a nice little compliment. And at the end of the day, I think it would be a very entertaining draft or free agency addition or trade, I should say, nonetheless. I will say, if it comes down to whether or not the Saints should do this, maybe explore it, because George Pickens is entering the final year of his contract. So maybe the Steelers are like, we don't really want to deal with paying him. Let's just get a draft pick in return. He's a headache anyway. We're going to let him walk. Let's go and get a pick. Maybe the Saints are a team that could be interested in that. What's worth considering? Kellen Moore is trying to establish a culture. Will George Pickens put a wrench in that culture? I don't know. That's something that has to be considered, though. Another player to talk about, Jalen Ramsey, the defensive back. He's currently with the Miami Dolphins. Can play pretty much anywhere on the defense if you need him to. And look, this is a very versatile, very good football player, really good defensive player. And Brandon Staley even credited him, saying that he's the reason why he was able to get a head coaching position after he was the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams when they won a Super Bowl. Him and Aaron Donald were big reasons for Brandon Staley's success. And look, there's reports out there that the Dolphins and Jalen Ramsey agreed mutually to explore trade options. So it looks like a separation is in the horizon for both of these parties. And he does have ties to the Saints through Brandon Staley. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. Brandon Staley has spoken and thinks very highly of Jalen Ramsey, and that same sentiment has been reciprocated. And Dolphins general manager Chris Greer, listen to this. This is the latest from them. We will make the deal at the appropriate time. So this, to me, thinks like a post-June 1 might really be the option that the Dolphins are looking at. But kind of going back to the relationship between Staley and Ramsey, I mean, look at this. The best defensive coordinator that I've ever had for sure in the NFL. That was Jalen Ramsey on your defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley. Look, if there's mutual respect and there's a need and there's the ability to add some quality veteran talent, more depth, I don't hate this. And I would bring in Jalen Ramsey as a starter because I think if you can rotate him on the defense, he is still a player that can do some good things for you. Although the numbers were down in terms of Jalen Ramsey's numbers, I still think he's a fine football player. And I think that if you put him in a good situation and you bring him to New Orleans, not only can he provide a spark and not only can he provide a little bit of swagger, but he also could be a good veteran mentor for some of the players alongside Tyrann Mathieu. So ultimately, I'm not against a Jalen Ramsey trade. I will say this, don't overpay for it. Be smart with the trade. And that goes without saying for any of these players. But, at the end of the day, especially for Jalen Ramsey, a player who is a bit older, I don't think you need to sell the farm for him, but I'm definitely interested in bringing him in. Now, we are in the midst of our May sub battle. April, we won. May, it's 0-0. First quarter, kickoff. It's opening kickoff. We got to start off hot. Let's take this one to the house. Can we get 100 subs on this video? 100 subs for a 100-yard kick six to open up the May sub battle. That would be absolutely electric. Saints now, Falcons today. We're crushing them in 2025. Let's start off May by absolutely burying them. They brought it close in April. Let's start off hot in May. Subscribe for daily Saints content by fans for fans. All right, let's go with another defensive back, Jaire Alexander. And for what it's worth, I think with Jalen Ramsey, not only could you have him be a cornerback, you could also line him up as a safety or somewhere in the middle. But Jaire Alexander, I do think could be a potential option for the outside cornerback position, specifically to take over for Isaac Yiadom and potentially compete with Quincy Riley and Kool-Aid McKinstry. I do like the cornerback room. It's just young, in my opinion, and I think having a player who's played at a high level for multiple years would be really beneficial for the Saints cornerback room. I think that they could use another veteran, to be totally honest, and there is trade buzz around the player and the Packers. However, right now, there are reports that the Packers and Jaire Alexander are talking about a possible resolution and potentially returning to Green Bay. So for the Packers, right now the options are you can either trade Alexander, you can either cut him, or he just comes back and you pay him and you make him happy. So why would you want to trade for Alexander? I mean, he is a guy that 16 tackles, 2 interceptions, 7 pass breakups. Like, that is pretty nice. That is pretty interesting. And then you also have to consider the facts, though, of, well, why is that down? Well, he only played in 7 games last year. And for 7 games, I think that's actually not all that bad. But you missed 20 games in the last 2 seasons. You missed 10 games in 2023. You missed 10 games in 2024. I'm really not interested in bringing in a Marshawn Lattimore 2.0, a player who can play at a high level, is very, very good, a little expensive, but ultimately misses a lot of time. The best ability is availability. I think this is one that you should explore, but explore with caution. Proceed with caution on a Jaire Alexander trade because although he might be an interesting player, a really big name, he does miss a lot of time due to injury. So I'm going to ask you, I personally think one more defensive back makes sense, and I think it needs to be a veteran guy. What do you think? Do you think the Saints need to add another defensive back? Get in Mickey Loomis's shoes, be the general manager, and just give me a yes or a no down in the comment section. All right, let's talk Trey Hendrickson, the defensive end, the edge rusher, the best sack artist in the 2024 season, led the NFL in sacks with 17.5 last year. To be totally honest, Trey Hendrickson should have just never left New Orleans. I want to start this whole conversation off by saying that. The fact that he left New Orleans sucks. The fact that Mickey Loomis said, I'm going to be too cheap and I'm not going to pay him, sucked. I would have loved to have 17.5 sacks from one player this past year. That all being said, maybe Mickey Loomis has the opportunity to right his wrongs here and get back in good graces with the fan base. Because I can tell you, Lopez, call me crazy. If Mickey Loomis trades for Trey Hendrickson and brings him back, people kind of bought back in. It's a step in the right direction. It's not fully bought back in, but it's a step. And this is a step that could actually make some sense because the Bengals drafted Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M at 17 overall, which thank God the Saints didn't have the opportunity to make that pick. I would have lost it. But I do think when it comes to the 2024 NFL sack leader, this is a player the Saints should definitely try to bring back. The Bengals are working to get a new contract done with him. They're interested in bringing him back. They want to bring him back, but money runs out eventually. And look, the Saints pass rush was really bad last year. Alontae Taylor was at top 5 in sacks, which shout out to him, but it's not a very good thing when you have a lot of good edge rushers and you have a lot of players who are just not putting up sack numbers. Like, you just got to add to it. And Trey Hendrickson might be the best edge rusher in the league outside of Myles Garrett, maybe. Like, I would say he's up there above Micah Parsons in my personal opinion. And like the thing with Trey Hendrickson trade, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. And the new contract, it's also going to cost you a pretty penny because he is going to want new money and he's going to want an extension. He's going to want more years and he's going to want a lot of guaranteed cash. I mean, I think for reference, the Myles Garrett numbers is really what you're looking at. But premier players get premier money and premier players require premier trade compensation. So this is a trade. If you want to make it happen, Mickey Loomis, it's going to cost you a lot more than it would have if you would have just kept him as a free agent. I mean, over the last handful of seasons, this guy has just been freaking ridiculous. Back-to-back seasons with over 17.5 sacks. He is a machine. He just produces so much good football, and he is a player that could make a huge impact on the New Orleans Saints defense. At the end of the day, I don't know if this is a trade that'll happen, but if it does happen, I would be really, really happy about it. Now, really quick, I want to tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Fanatics. If you want to get some new Saints jerseys, chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. The link is in the comments and description of this video. If you want to get any of the players from the draft, we have jerseys available for you. Most of them should be available here soon. I know we have Kelvin Banks, but we're still waiting on Tyler Shuck. We're still waiting on a couple of other a couple of other ones to come in, like Devin Neal and whatnot. But for what it's worth, we do have Alvin Kamara, we do have Cam Jordan, we do have Kelvin Banks, we have Home, we have Way, we have Color Rush, we have any of those that you want. Chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. Get them today. Link is in the comments and description of this video. Now, let's go to our final trade target here, and this is a name that actually has ties to New Orleans due to our head coach, Dallas Goedert, the Philadelphia Eagles tight end. He is a player who is on the trade block, and he's a player who, to be honest, might actually be worth considering here. He does have a cap hit of $11.76 million in 2025. However, he does have no guaranteed money left, and maybe this is a reunion that could make sense. I mean, he was really effective in Kellen Moore's offense when he was available. And Dallas Goedert is a staple of the Eagles offense, and he's, a blue chip player for Philadelphia, and he's a player that the team and the fans love out in Philly. And like, Kellen Moore won a Super Bowl with them. Why would you not want to bring him in? And we all know that tight end was a position in need going into the offseason. You signed Juwan Johnson. You drafted Maliki Mataval. You also have Trayton Welch, Dallin Holker, Micah Jacobson. You signed Jack Stoll. But with Taysom Hill not really being a true tight end, and he's not really going to be available until probably October, I think adding another tight end makes some sense. And I think Dallas Goedert could be a good player to do that. And I think that he could be a player that Kellen Moore already has familiarity with. And we know the offensive philosophy for Kellen Moore is you get your best players on the field. And it doesn't matter if you have multiple great running backs. It doesn't matter if you have multiple premier tight ends. You're going to put your best players on the field. If you have two premier tight ends, you're going to play in 12 personnel. If you have Juwan Johnson and you have Dallas Goedert, you're going to find a way to get them both on the field. Just because you signed Juwan Johnson to a 3-year, $30 million contract, for what it's worth, is not an overpay, because that is bottom half or about average of tight end money in 2025. I think it's okay. I would be totally okay with trading for any of the players we mentioned. Specifically, guys I'm interested in: George Pickens, Trey Hendrickson, Dallas Goedert. Those are the three that I'm definitely the most interested in. Now, if you guys want to get more content in between these videos, hit me up on social media: Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I have the links all available in the comments and description. You also can see it right here. Just search your boy up, Trizzy Trace, on all three platforms. I post all the time. Y'all stay golden, wnat Nation. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. All right, we got to make a quick audible here because, yep. So we got to call an audible. Let me hop in listicles here. Can you pull yourself up on camera?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna fix something. And I'm gonna see if we can salvage here. Because I didn't put him in the title or anything, so we might actually be okay here.
Okay. While we're running a quick little audible, y'all go. Comment, do the Saints need to add another DB? Yes or no? We heard Trizzy's opinion. He's saying yes. I think I'm in the same boat as that. I think the Saints need to add in the secondary. I don't think it's not the best secondary around. There's definitely room for improvement. And then while y'all are doing that, also be sure to get your hashtag Saints questions in, because I want to have a good mailbag segment.
Can you pull up the list, so I'm going to make it a list 4.
List 4? Okay. Yeah, I want to have a good mailbag segment, so if y'all can get some great mailbag questions in, that would be amazing. That would be phenomenal, actually. That would be phenomenal, because... Ooh, Keith Mason got a spicy question. I don't know if something I would want, but it's a spicy question. Queen Courtney saying she's got one, and let me see the questions are looking like right now. Actually, we got one. Got a couple there. Okay, we got about maybe 10 questions. What are we doing though? Come on. Get your questions in. This is just more time to do that. Also, that reminds me. while we were in the middle of that cut,
Can you?
we
Okay.
got a super chat.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dark Knight. I saw him sending a 20. Can
Yeah.
you really quick pull up that
Yes.
list for me? Sorry, Dark Knight. We got to check something here. Okay. Hold on. I fixed.
After that, though, Dark Knight, you're gonna be on the screen. We're gonna make sure
Okay.
that you are on this screen.
Haha! We fixed it. Okay. Let me delete that player bio, and then we're good.
Okay.
Dark Knight, we're going to pop up that super chat here for you. Just give us 1 second. For what it's worth, breaking NFL news, Elijah Moore is signing with the Bills. He gets a 1-year, $5 million max contract. I listed him as a free agent option for the Saints. We're actually about to go through now 9 wide receivers that the Saints could potentially sign, but we were going to go through 10. Elijah Moore was going to be the name we're talking about. However, he is now a Buffalo Bill. No one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. Alrighty.
That video just got cut maybe another 30 seconds shorter.
Yeah, exactly. Let me go. This one's from the draft, I believe. I'll keep the bet if you nail the last pick. Yeah, that's from the draft. Dark Knight! Just wanted to say, hey, what's up to everybody? I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello! What's going on, Dark Knight? How's it going, man? I hope you're having a wonderful day, brother. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I hope you're having a wonderful year. Wait, we skipped a month. I hope you're having a wonderful month. Hope you're having a wonderful year.
Hope you're just having a wonderful.
Hope you're having a wonderful decade. Hope you're having a wonderful millennium or century and then millennium. Dark Knight, thanks for tuning in, brother. I appreciate that $20 super chat. We don't have any beers in the studio, but I'll tell you what. I'll chug the rest of this. Not all of it, but
I can run and grab you a beer if you want one. It's up to you.
If we get another 20, yes. If we get another 20, just because. Actually, fuck it. Go grab me a beer.
You're welcome, Dark Knight.
Go grab me a beer for Dark Knight.
It's called peer pressure right there.
Yeah.
People
Dark
say it's
Knight.
not a good thing. It really is. Don't listen to them.
Yeah. People try to say that peer pressure is a bad thing, but I don't see where they get that. Facts. What's going on, Spongy? How you doing, brother? How are you doing? If you use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat, we will bring in, or we'll be able to pull you up on the show. We're going to do a mailbag here in a moment. What's going on, wnat Nation? He says, go Saints. I'm good, man. Good to hear from you, bro. Good to hear from you. Dark Knight! Hey, Lopez, grab a second one. I hope you heard it. We're going to get 2 of those, Dark Knight. We're going to get 2 of them in there. We're going to get 2 of them. Has that random guy been baptized? No, we're still waiting. We got to get Lopez ordained first. That hasn't happened yet. We haven't had time. The draft was 3 days ago. We're still catching up on sleep. It will not be happening for at least a couple of months. It'll probably be happening in June or July, to be honest. Yo, Trizzy, is your job chat sports? I would love to do this for a living. Yes, dude. Duke, this is my full-time gig. I get paid money to come and talk about my favorite football team. Do you want to get a second one? Dark Knight sent a second 20. Sorry, I didn't know if you heard me when I hollered. Yeah, sorry, brother. Sorry. You can have one. Yeah, you can have one, Dark. Yeah, you can have one. Yeah, okay. For what it's worth, $200 super chat. We have the 4 Loko in the fridge, and we can drink that. One left over from the NFL draft. We have a $200 super chat gets you a 4 Loko chug. Oh my God, could you imagine a 4 Loko chug here on a Wednesday? I do have family dinner tonight. I'm going to get some Cajun food with my folks and with Maddie. I'm really excited for that. I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening as well. I hope you guys have big plans this evening, just like I do. Can't believe it's almost been 2 years since I subscribed to Saints after meeting him on the Hoodie Jube channel. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Jerry, you know what's really funny about that is that specific night is actually a big core memory of mine because if you remember, my roommate Bergen, he is a big-time Patriots fan. He's one of my best friends. He joined the live show, and he actually got to chop it up with us. And he was immense. It was like we still go back and we talk about that to this day. So, Jerry, I hope you know, like, that was a big memory for us. Like, core memories, if you will. That was about 2 years ago. That's really funny. All right, I'm going to do my chug. Lopez is going to bring himself on as well. And we're going to both chug. Yeah, come on, 2Kim this. Get up here. Come on now. Get yourself on screen, Loco Lopez. Still in there from the draft. I love it. You know what? Yes, Ethan, I did finger my happy dad because I was trying to push the tab down because I have a habit of cutting my tongue or my lip on these things. Have you been to Fat Boy's Pizza on Bourbon Street? Yes, I have. It was a couple of years ago, though. I didn't go when we were out there for the Super Bowl. We went to Willie's Chicken instead. I got the guys on Willie's. Love Willie's, man. You can say what you want, but it is great food.
Do they still have the signs up? Because I remember when I was younger, they used to have signs that was like, "Come try our cocktails," and like they really emphasized the cock on like all their billboards.
on their daiquiris, the frozen daiquiris, it's a chicken head, and down the line it just has cock, which is really funny.
Okay, so
I have one at my apartment.
So they still do emphasize the cock.
Yeah, no. When I first started dating Maddie, fun fact, she saw that and she was like, "So why do you have a big cup that says cock on there?" I was like, "So have you ever been to New Orleans?" She was like, "No." I'm like, "That would explain a lot. If you had been, it would explain everything." Okay, so last thing I'll say about Fat Boy's Pizza, I have a really funny picture, and it's my dad's contact photo actually. My dad and I went to New Orleans a few years ago to catch a Saints game, and it was one of the best weekends of my life. Such a great time. But look at this picture. Hold on. I'll show it to y'all, and then we'll get into the content. Where is this damn picture? I think I passed.
Well, you do that. I'll chug my beer.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, let's get our chug going. I can scroll while chug. Oh, it's cold. Here we go. There you go. That's my dad taking a big old bite out of the pizza. Isn't he hilarious? And he's so funny. Everyone type Steve. Everyone type Steve. Steve. Alrighty. Let's do some wide receiver targets.
Yeah.
One chug down. We're gonna talk.
Imagine if we did that video first.
Huh?
Imagine if we did that video first now.
Dude, middle of the thing. Yeah, so never mind, by the way. Yeah,
Disregard.
we're going to push that tonight.
Disregard.
Decision made. We're pushing that one tonight because I don't want another one of these guys getting signed. Praise YJ says, "Shucks sucks. Can't wait to see it all unfold." Why are you rooting against a guy who hasn't even taken a snap? I think it's corny. I think it's weird behavior to be actively rooting for a guy to fail. Especially a guy who's wearing the jersey of your favorite football team. Especially a guy who has not even put on a Saints jersey yet. Especially a guy who, let's call a spade here, has actually tried to buy in. Look at his social media. Look at his Instagram. He's saying, "I will die on the field for this football team." How are you going to actively root for a guy like that to fail? That is just weird, corny, lame-ass behavior. I'm sorry, like, if that offends you, Praise YJ, get over it. That's corny-ass behavior, man. I'm not ever going to actively root against a player on my team. I don't care if it's Derek Carr. If Derek Carr is playing really good football, I'm going to be the biggest Derek Carr fan there is. Derek Carr's playing bad football, I'm going to be pretty damn critical. Same thing here. If it's Spencer Rattler, if it's Jake Hayner, if it's Drew motherfucking Brees, I don't care. I'm going to be critical when I need to be critical, and I'm going to celebrate whenever they're playing well, because I'm a damn fan first. I don't understand. I don't get why people are rooting against these guys. Like, I don't understand, especially Tyler Shuck. I understand if you're mad about not drafting Shedeur Sanders. I get it. Trust me. I understand. Jackson Dart wasn't there. Giants traded up and went him. That was their guy. They wanted Jackson Dart more than the Saints did. That is proof in the pudding because they ended up with him. You wanted Jalen Milroe, they didn't want him that bad. Tyler Shuck was clearly the player they wanted. And if you want to be mad at the Saints, fine. But be mad at the other 31 teams, too, who passed on him, including the fucking Browns, who took a quarterback 2 rounds before. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tolerate any sort of like hate or nonsense like this towards players who haven't even taken a snap. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm tired. I don't get it.
That could be a short.
Yeah, passing on players might have been a mistake, but that doesn't mean that you should actively root for the guys you did take to fail. That is being a fake fan. That is being corny. That is being lame. That is being just, and it's not just any but 1 or 2 people in the chat. It is everyone on Twitter. It's everyone on Instagram. It's people in the comment section. Get a freaking life. Like, how are you going to be so negative all the time? I don't get it. Like, it's okay to be excited about something that might be mediocre. We don't know. We don't know if it's going to be bad. We don't know if it's going to be good. It just drives me crazy. It just drives me fucking crazy, man. I don't get it. You like, drives me crazy. Honestly, it might have been. It might have been. It might have been. I understand why people are upset with Tyler Shuck pick. I get it. But here's the thing. If we would have drafted Shedeur Sanders, people are going to hate that pick too. If you went and drafted Dylan Gabriel, people are going to hate that pick too. If you went and drafted Cam Ward, people are going to hate that pick too. You can't make everyone happy. And if you want to be a freaking contrarian, like, that's fine. But blah, it's not just you, Prize YJ. It's not just you, man. It's not just you. The conversation, I'm going to remember this, little buddy. Okay, man. Okay. You can remember this conversation. But what you need to remember, screen recorded and all, if you need to, what you need to remember is, I'm not saying Tyler Shuck is going to be the guy. I'm just saying you need to give him a chance. I'm just saying it's weird and it's loser behavior to root against a player who has not even put on a helmet yet that is black and gold. I just think it's weird. I hope he's great. I hope he proves all of us wrong for what it's worth. Because if Tyler Shuck ends up being the guy, nobody's going to say a fucking word if Tyler Shuck ends up being the guy. All right, that's it. We got to talk. We got to talk about it. Okay. We got to get on. We got to get on. No, praise YJ. For what it's worth, man, this is not directed towards you. This is directed towards everyone out there who has hated the pick. And I get not liking the pick, but why are you spending time hating on the player? Why are you sitting here saying, I'm actively rooting for him to fail? I want him to fail so we have, like, that is what I don't get. That is what I don't understand. And you hear, clearly you didn't see him at the combine because the only one, unless you're saying me, like, did you not see it? Like, I don't know. You hear, I don't know what your point is. There was one bad throw from the combine. The only throw that hit the turf was the one that, the only throw that hit the turf was the one that went viral. Every other pass was a completed pass and was a nice throw, like, for what it's worth. Praise YJ. You evaluate football too, man. Good for you, bro. Good for you. Again, this is not directed to you. This is directed to you and everyone else who has been hating on the person. You can hate the pick. Don't hate the person. That's just weird. And if you disagree, this probably isn't the channel for you. I'm a Saints fan first, man. I'm a Saints fan first. I don't care. I'm a Saints fan first. Spencer Rattler is better. Cool. If he's not, whatever. That's just how it is. All right, let's talk about wide receiver. Enough quarterback. Oh, my God. It actually pisses me off so much, man. Everyone thinks, honestly, we might need to. Everyone thinks that they know everything, and everyone thinks that what they know is better than everyone else. And that's me included. I'm not exclusive from that. I'm a part of that. It's just you will never have a world where everyone's happy. This is just so clearly, so fucking clear. Oh man, it's so bad. No, Praise YJ, I didn't say they were bad people. You can dislike the pick, but you can't dislike the person. Praise YJ, get a Q-tip and clean out your ears because you're not fucking listening to me, man. You're just not listening. I don't know how to put this through your skull, brother. I don't know how to make it clearer. Why? Honest to God, I don't. Like, honestly, like, if we just go for another 2 minutes to a Fanatics ad read, this is the video, bro.
No, this is the one that doesn't have the ad read.
Oh, my God. I just don't understand all of the time. Like, ugh. It drives me fucking crazy. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Praise YJ, how do you know what the team feels, man? Are you in the locker room? Are you in the locker room? Just because somebody tweeted something, they tweet cryptic stuff all the time. And guess what? Darren, like, come on, man. All right, you know what? I'm not dealing with this nonsense anymore. You get 5 minutes. I got to start this fucking video. I can't. I put him in the corner for 5 minutes. I got to start this video, and I can't keep dealing with this, dude. Praise YJ. Get it through your skull. I'm not saying you have to like the player. I'm not saying because Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara didn't love the selection, they're bad people. I'm saying give the kid a fucking chance. Get it through. I don't know how to make it any clearer. Give Tyler Shuck a chance. That is all I'm saying. New head coach, hand-picked quarterback, give him a chance. That's it. No more, no less. That is it. Good? We clear? Awesome. Let's talk wide receivers. God bless it, man. No, I'm not. I'm not giving him a chance to respond. No, I got to get into it. I mean, look, again, this is not a... Praise YJ is not the only person who does this. He's just the person in the chat right now doing it. I think the Saints really just need to get their fucking quarterback so we can just stop with this nonsense. Please, for the love of God. Please, Tyler Shuck. Prove everyone right so we can stop doing this bullshit. I'm tired of the arguments over a quarterback, man. It's just ridiculous. You're about 2 dumb messages from getting put in timeout, too. You're about 2 dumb messages from getting put in timeout. You ever seen The Office when Daryl was like at Andy? He's like, you're 1 bad text away from getting blocked. That's you hear. You're 1 bad text from getting blocked. I'm just kidding.
You're enjoying your friend in the corner over there.
Yeah, you're going to get put in the timeout. Praise YJ's in that corner. Yahir's in that corner. You guys got to separate, okay? Oh. Eli Grant saying who dat. Shout out to Eli. All right, let's get into it, man. I can't keep doing this shit. Yeah, I know. That's why I said he said who dat, Lopez. That's kind of the bit. It's kind of the bit. Ugh. You're about to be, bro. You're about to be. Ah! Okay. I can't believe this is the team that I root for, man. This is just... Oh, man, I miss Drew Brees. This was not a problem when Drew Brees was around. Everything was so much better when Drew Brees was here. Even when he had a noodle arm, everything was so much better. I miss it, man. I miss him. God fucking damn it, man. Ugh. Got to turn the fan on. I'm getting heated. It's also so hot in the studio. It does feel nice. I'm going to crack the door, though. I need some air in here. Oh, that's better. Okay. Now we got some air in the studio. Now we're chilling. Lord Buddy Bear. Y'all got Trizzy fired up today. I love these shows. Okay. We're just having fun. We're just having a good time. I can't wait to clip all this. I wonder how long that rant actually was. I wonder how long that rant was. That would be so funny if it's 8 minutes. We might need to make that like a Sunday afternoon cut. Just why not? That'd be so funny. 3 minutes short. Why not? Dude, I love it. I love it. That's so great. That's so great. Alrighty. Honestly, should we do a mailbag? It's hashtag Shuck. We could do that. We could do that. We could do that. Okay, here. I want to ask one question before we get into the wide receiver targets. Would y'all rather do a mailbag about the Saints or Tyler Shuck? Saints or Tyler Shuck? And we can say whatever we want. We'll make a live poll right now. Would you rather do a mailbag that is exclusively the Saints and it can be everything? Or would you rather it just be around Tyler Shuck? Because if it's hashtag Saints for what it's, screw it. If it's hashtag Saints, just ask your Tyler Shuck questions. Just ask your Tyler Shuck questions. Just ask you. Yeah, we'll just do that. Pick the mailbag ticket. Saints stuff or Tyler Shuck. If you have questions about Tyler Shuck, hashtag Tyler, just make sure you ask about it. BST says we need more shorts just like that. Trust me, we'll do it. Ron, what's my Instagram? I will tell you. Mitch, I'm over here fighting for my life, dude. I'm over here fighting for my life trying to convince the wnat Nation to give our quarterback a chance. Yes. I'm trying to tell him. You don't have to like the player. You don't have to like the pick, but give the guy a chance. He hasn't even put on a jersey yet. Like, he hasn't even shown up for practice. For what it's worth, he went to a meal in New Orleans, and it wasn't Chipotle. That's a win. That's a win. Like, Chipotle is fire, but that's not be your first meal if you're the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints.
But, like, top 2, right?
Maybe your third. Maybe late night dinner. Huh? I think we do have to give away a Tyler Shuck jersey. I think that 100% has to happen.
I'll talk.
Stay tuned. We have a Tyler
We
Shuck
might be
jersey.
giving away a Tyler Shuck jersey pretty soon.
At the end of this live.
All right. Shuck it! Ron, I put my Instagram in the live chat if you want to give me a follow. There you go. The link's in there. All right, let's get into wide receiver targets. It's about. Oh my God, that would be so great. I agree with that. I think Shuck It T-shirts would be hilarious. We can't, yeah, but I think we should do a Shuck It T-shirt or a Shuck It jersey would also play. I think Shuck It T-shirts could sell, especially maybe we wait a year. Maybe we wait a year on the Shuck It T-shirts to see if he's good. Because if he's not good, then we don't do it. But the jersey could play. Like, think about it. We could give away a Shuck It jersey, like, at the end of each show. Or at the end of each, like, watch party.
If he sucks, or if he shucks bad enough, he might not be the quarterback.
If he's shucking terrible.
He might not be the
This
quarterback
guy's the
next year.
mother shucking worst thing to happen.
We might be along the nuts bus next year.
And then after that, the March for Arch.
Yeah, we just keep hammering college quarterbacks.
Okay, let's get into it. Wide receiver targets. 9 players the Saints could sign in free agency. I'm going to get shucked up. I love the shuck puns. They're so fun. All right, let's dive in. Do what? Put something down? Oh, probably put the blinds down. Yeah, put that down. No, I didn't think it was. Other way. Ron, thank you, brother. Mitch, yes, we're about to get into it. Yeah, Jerry, we're about to get into it. Saints, yep, we're about to start. We had our boss come in. We had to tell us something. We had to fix that real quick, and now we're good to go. All righty, let's dive on in. Saints wide receiver targets coming at you. The New Orleans Saints did not address the wide receiver position in the 2025 NFL Draft, despite it being one of the biggest needs this offseason. And it's not just any wide receiver, it's a specific type of wide receiver. So in today's video, we're going to go through a bunch of wide receiver targets. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning in to Saints Now by Chat Sports. Let's take an updated look at the current group in the Saints wide receiver room. Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks, and Rashid Shaheed are your top 3 wide receivers. Don't forget about Bub Means, a player that the Saints drafted last year in 2024. Kevin Austin Jr., Cedric Wilson, Dante Pettis. You got Moochie Dixon as an undrafted free agent, and you got Mason Tipton, and then, of course, you also have Chris Tyree. And right now, for me, I like how the Saints wide receiver group is currently built and how it's constructed, but I do believe that the Saints have a specific need at wide receiver, and that type of wide receiver is a big-bodied, physical receiver who can operate over the middle, because right now, believe it or not, no player in the wide receiver room is above 6'2" for New Orleans. And that's a problem. You got a lot of speed, but now you need some size. So today, we're going to dive into some free agent wide receiver targets. We were going to mention Elijah Moore for what it's worth, but he was just signed moments before we started filming this video. So he is off the table. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Latest around the wide receiver room, he is not available. First name we're going to bring up today, though, is Amari Cooper. He is a veteran wide receiver who's been around the league, has been on a handful of different teams, and there is some chatter about him potentially returning to the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think that it does make some sense for him to go back to the Raiders. He has the ties. He played for Raider Nation a handful of years ago, early into his career. But now at 30 years old, 6'1", 211 pounds, of course he isn't that super tall wide receiver. He is, though, a big presence. He is, though, a physical player, or not a physical, but a productive player who has been really good over the course of his career. And he's honestly been a really big sleeper, in my opinion. I think that he is a player the Saints should consider. Although I don't think he's my number one option, he is a good name to think about. Now, coming up on the next one, we got another wide receiver, veteran player Keenan Allen, a player that actually has some ties to the current New Orleans Saints coaching staff with Kellen Moore. I do think that this is a player that I'm interested in. 6'2", 211 pounds. He is 33 years old, but he is, in my opinion, one of the best wide receivers available in free agency. Still pretty productive numbers last year with Caleb Williams tossing him the pill. He was really, really good with Kellen Moore when he was the offensive coordinator for the Chargers a handful of years ago. The second best year of his career, the second best production was when Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. And for what it's worth, I think the Saints could use a veteran wide receiver presence like Keenan Allen. I know you have Cedric Wilson, but Keenan Allen is a player who's been getting it done for a long time, and he is a better wide receiver in my opinion. So I think having him on the roster would make a lot of sense, and it would be a big position to need. All right, let's talk about it. It would not be a wide receiver free agent target video if we didn't mention can't guard Mike. For what it's worth, I don't think it's going to happen. Second, I want to say, I don't think it makes sense. He has not played in a game since 2023. But we're going to mention it because he is a free agent and the Saints have a need. And to be totally honest, the player that they sign at the wide receiver position needs to be a player that fulfills the Michael Thomas role of being able to operate on those slants, operate over the middle. It is a weird situation right now with the Saints and Michael Thomas. Like, he kind of got blackballed from the league last year. I don't know if it was injuries. I don't know if it was attitude or what, but a lot of blow-ups on social media. But if the Saints move on from Derek Carr, Dennis Allen's gone. Entirely new coaching staff, entirely new regime outside of Mickey Loomis and Gail Benson. Would he come back? I don't know. Probably not, but I don't know. He has not played a game since Week 10 against the Minnesota Vikings back in 2023. And in that year, only one touchdown, 448 yards, limited production due to injuries. Michael Thomas will not be a New Orleans Saint. I seriously doubt the Saints bring back Mike Thomas. The bridge has been burned. He said a lot of things on Twitter. Mickey Loomis is still the GM. Gail Benson's still the owner. He's not coming back to New Orleans. I would be shocked. I would be so shocked. But I've been wrong before, and I've been surprised before. So if it happens, we're going live. I can guarantee you that. But would you bring back Michael Thomas? Type yes or no. Funny enough, in the live chat when I asked this question, we had a lot of people respond yes. So I'm interested. Would you bring him back? A couple of people saying yes, some people saying no. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Let's talk Nelson Aguilar because, look, there's not a lot of great names. This is kind of the point. Not a lot of great options. You really would have been better off addressing the wide receiver need in the draft. But, for what it's worth, Nelson Aguilar has been around for a little bit. 231 yards last year, 2 touchdowns, 31 years old. Not quite the size that I'm looking for, but he is a veteran, and Saints need more depth. Saints need more wide receivers. And I'll say this, you're not going to fix everything in one offseason, so maybe next year they go heavy on signing and drafting wide receivers. But for the time being, you got to go and get a player in the wide receiver group. It would be really nice to have A.T. Perry for what it's worth. I see somebody bringing that up in the live chat. Yeah, I would agree. Having A.T. Perry would be really nice right about now. Let's go to another former Louisiana legend. We talked Michael Thomas. Now let's talk about Odell Beckham Jr. We talked with Odell Beckham Jr., that's also a conversation I think is very over. He has not played a lot of football. He is not a player that I think can provide much, but he is a player who has ties to Louisiana. He's a player that I think would put butts in seats, and I think he's a player that would sell a lot of jerseys. I mean, that is a fact. So maybe you reunite the Honey Badger and OBJ, two Louisiana LSU legends. That'd be pretty cool. I just don't think I don't think it'll happen. He's old. He's very injury prone. But hey, again, you haven't need a wide receiver. So we talked Nelson Aguilar. Let's talk DJ Chark, another LSU wide receiver. Now, this one I will say actually is a little bit intriguing to me. Early in his career, he showed some promise. And when I think about DJ Chark at 28 years old, I mean, he's from Alexandria. That'd be cool to bring him back to Louisiana. My big question, though, is where would he fit and what exactly would be the role? I mean, he's played a few years with Jacksonville, one with Detroit, one with Carolina, one with the Chargers, and his best season, over 1,000 yards in 2019. So, maybe he could be a really nice complimentary wide receiver, too, and take some of the pressure off of Brandon Cooks or Rashid Shaheed. Because I don't think you need him to be a wide receiver one. So the question about what his role could be is honestly pretty open-ended, and it just doesn't have to be a guy you need a ton of production from. I mean, if you can get 500-600 yards from him, I think that's pretty nice. 6'4", 205 pounds. That is some size that I really want on the New Orleans Saints. That is some size that would be really useful in the red zone. And to be honest, 8 touchdowns in 2019, over 1,000 yards. That to me is pretty intriguing. Of course, handful of years ago, but he's only 28 years old. I think the Saints should make a call. Now, a really quick reminder, I want to encourage you to subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. We give you guys daily content by Saints fans for Saints fans. We went live all throughout the NFL draft, almost 20 hours of live content, over 1 million views over the last 28 days. That doesn't happen on accident. We're clearly doing something right. So thank you to everyone who supported, and thank you to everyone who subscribed. But if you haven't already and you haven't yet, this is your chance. Subscribe right now and join the Golden Gang. All right, Tyler Boyd is another player that's really intriguing. Because at one point in time, I actually thought Tyler Boyd was one of the better wide receiver twos in the National Football League. But then the Bengals, they bring in, they obviously added Jamar Chase and they added T. Higgins. So Tyler Boyd's role just kind of eventually got weeded out. But in a lot of seasons from 2016 to 2023 for the Cincinnati Bengals, he was a really productive player, multiple years of over 1,000 yards. But last year for the Tennessee Titans, 390 yards, 39 touchdowns. He's a veteran receiver who's been reliable. Listen, his catch percentage has never been below 60%. The highest, or it's actually stayed around 68 to 70% most of his career. The lowest, 60.8% in 2019. He's a very trustworthy, reliable receiver, and if you have a young quarterback and Tyler Shuck starting, or you have Derek Carr who could use a nice safety blanket, Tyler Boyd would be an excellent option. Deontay Hardy, a former Saints wide receiver, former special teamer, that honestly, Lopez and I were actually talking about it before his tenure ended with the Saints, and he just stuck to being a return specialist. I think he actually could have had a nice little career in New Orleans, but due to injuries sustained in the wide receiver group, he got thrown into the mix of needing to be able to put up regular production, and he's just a small guy, could be useful as a speedy slot receiver. Maybe not. I'm leaning towards no. 5 games played, no receiving stats in 2024. I think that's something that you have to really think about. And what's the usage? What's the role? You don't really need more speed. You need more size. So Deontay Hardy, although it would be a cool reunion, and although the name is there, it's one of the better names available. It just, in my opinion, doesn't make a lot of sense. Allen Robinson, the last name we're going to bring up in today's video. Veteran wide receiver, has gotten it done for a lot of different teams over the course of his tenure. But last year, 3 receptions, 30 yards, 6'2", 210 pounds. He's a player who is, at this point, could just be a veteran presence, basically replacing Cedric Wilson. I don't love this option. It's kind of the whole point of this video is there's not a lot of great options out there. So if you do want to add a wide receiver, you're going to need to go and check out the trade market, or you're going to need to act quick. I mean, Hunter Renfro's gone. Elijah Moore just got signed. There's just not really many appealing options right now. So the Saints are going to have to get creative in the wide receiver department, or they're going to have to go and make a trade. And Mickey Loomis even said after the draft that they're not done. They're going to add some players. They know they have needs, and a veteran wide receiver, in my opinion, especially a big body receiver, is one of those needs. Now, the Saints should go and add a wide receiver today. And I think that it makes a lot of sense sooner rather than later just to have a guy on there. But let's also revisit this conversation during roster cutdowns, and honestly right before it, because maybe there's some intriguing options available via trade. Or maybe there's some players who end up getting cut that you didn't think were going to get cut because of how things shook out during training camp or how things shook out in the draft. So this is a conversation that right now is worth having, but definitely worth revisiting because hopefully there's more intriguing options available later. Now, if you made it to the end of today's video, give me a Golden Gang down in the comment section. If you don't know what the Golden Gang is, that is our elite group of subscribers here at Saints Now by Chat Sports, over 45,000 members strong. So if you want to join the Golden Gang, hit that sub button and show me some love and let me know you joined the Golden Gang by typing it down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time. Boom. Aiden. Interesting question. Sonia, I don't think he wants to play here. We did get another super chat. Dark night. Dark night. Dark night. Dark night. All right. Cheers. Dark night. Show some love to the future of our team. Type shuck it. Shuck it. Shuck it. Shuck it. Shuck it. Shuck it. Everyone type shuck it in the chat. Shuck it. Yeah, I don't think Tyler Shuck is going to be Josh Allen. If he is, that would be insane. He'll be better than Josh Allen. That's funny, Lopez. I don't think he'll be a Josh Allen player. I think he'll be Tyler Shuck. That's what it is. I think he'll just be Tyler Shuck. What?
Are you familiar with Tom Brady?
We're not going to compare Tyler Shuck to Tom Brady.
Tyler Shuck was the 40th pick in the draft. What was Tom Brady? 199?
Just saying, Tyler Shuck's going to be better.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers do not lie. That's actually true. Numbers do not, in fact, lie. Shuck it, shuck it, shuck it. Dark Knight. I'll tell you what, first jersey giveaway we do, that's a Tyler Shuck jersey, you're getting a lot of raffle tickets. I will make that a promise. Alrighty, let's get into the mailbag. Hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat. Ask a question.
Let's see what
share a hot take. Whatever you got to say. I want to hear from you, Saints fans. Use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat. In case you didn't know, the Falcons exercised Drake London's fifth-year option. He had 100 receptions, over 1,200 yards, and 9 touchdowns last year. Shuck greater than Brady from Lord Buddy Bear.
Lord Buddy
The
Bear
Rook
knows ball.
10 says Shuck's floor is Carson Palmer. Look, we can Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer was pretty good. Nobody wants to talk
Carson
about that.
Palmer play in a Super Bowl?
Did he?
Did he?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because drafted by the Bengals, so he didn't make it there, and then he might have been NFC Championship with the Cardinals.
Never played in a Super Bowl. Yeah, did he play in a... I was saying, didn't he play in the Cardinals? Who was the Super Bowl for the Cardinals when they went to the... Or who was the quarterback when they played against the Steelers? Was it
Had to be Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner still?
Yeah.
Which is so crazy to say that Kurt Warner was still playing football then. Like,
Well, he played 2 years later against the Saints in the playoffs.
I know. It's like insane to think about. He's so old.
Kurt Warner was just a vibe.
Kurt Warner was a vibe. What year did he get drafted?
I have no idea. I know he was MVP in 2000 or 2001, so it had to be in the 90s that he was drafted.
Yeah, okay. He took the Cardinals to the NFC Championship in 2015. If we can get Tyler Shuck to take us to the NFC Championship. I'm happy with that.
That's pretty freaking
because
good.
we haven't made the playoffs in a few years.
That would be pretty freaking good.
That'd be pretty crazy. That would be pretty ridiculous. Alrighty. Ask a question. Share a hot take. Lopez, how are we doing on questions? Do we need more or what?
We got a good bit. We got some fun ones.
Sick.
We got some fun ones. Start getting that set up while everybody gets their last minute questions in.
Alrighty, mailbag coming up. Hashtag Saints, send in a super chat. Definitely sign Asante Samuel. I agree with that one. Arturo, yes. Prayers to the Carr family because him and Heather had some unfortunate news. I'm not going to continue to talk about it. We've mentioned it on the show a couple times. If you need to know what it is, just Google, just Google it because I don't want to talk too much about it. It is very sad though, and I want to give their family the time and to heal and the privacy that they deserve to work through said very difficult thing, just for what it's worth. Alrighty. Mailbag coming up. Subscriber mailbag. If you're not subscribed, you can't join the mailbag. Hashtag Saints, send in a super chat. Lopez, you ready to roll, brother? Get one sip of water and we're good. All right, let's talk about it. Hashtag Saints, send in a super chat. What's going on, wnat Nation? The Golden Gang has questions. And me and my guy Loco Lopez have answers. Today's video is a Saints Now subscriber mailbag. So if you want to be a part of the mailbag, first of all, you got to tune in on our Wednesday live show. Secondly, you also got to help your boy out in winning our sub battle. You got to be subscribed. First part about it is subscriber mailbag. So we're on the race to 50K, and we're trying to take down the Browns report. 45,000, 44,000. They are on our tails, ladies and gentlemen. So help your boy out. Subscribe today, and let's get to 50K before Browns report. For what it's worth, going into draft weekend, they had more subscribers. Thank you. Now let's bait them to 50K. Ethan, first question. What do you think the Saints' ceiling and floor is for the season? Great question, Ethan. Ceiling, I think, is 10 wins and hosting a home playoff game. I think that's fair, Lopez. What do you think the ceiling is here?
I think ceiling, I'm not going to get anything crazy. I don't even think home playoff game unless you win the division, which I guess that would be the only way.
I think the only route to the playoffs is winning the division. I don't think you're a wild card team.
I'm kind of scared of the ceiling because I think ceiling is maybe 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah,
and that's kind of just like purgatory.
Yeah, like the highest of the high is maybe you win the division with like 9 games, and then you host a playoff game, which is how that would work. Realistically, though, I think it's like 7, 8 wins. Like I don't expect it to be amazing. I do think it's going to be better than people are anticipating. The roster isn't that bad, to be honest, and the new coaching staff alone added a lot of improvement, in my opinion. So for the ceiling, Lopez, I'm going to go 8 wins. I think that's fair.
I can get on board with that, and then I also, if they're going to suck, that's fine.
Yeah,
let's
like,
suck,
it's okay
but let's
to be
have
bad.
fun.
Yeah,
like
just give me something to root for.
Yeah, give me something I can turn my TV on Sundays and be like, I get to watch Saints. I have to watch the Saints.
Let's if you win 6 games, but Alvin Kamara rushes for 1,000 yards, fine. I'm okay. Like if we can get 1,000 yards for Alvin Kamara, I'm happy. But floor, I would say it's pretty low, like 2, 3, 4 wins. Ceiling, I think it is up to 8, maybe even 9 or 10 wins. But we'll have to see, Ethan. Great question. Thank you, brother. All right, next one, Kyron. Should the Saints sign more playmakers this offseason? Yes, I think they should. Mickey Loomis has said that he wants to he knows that there's still needs and that they want to add some free agents still. In terms of players available, the New Orleans Saints missed out on Elijah Moore. The Bills actually ended up signing him. Amari Cooper's available. Keenan Allen is available. J.K. Dobbins, Justin Simmons, Julian Blackman, Asante Samuel I'm definitely very interested in. Kaiser White, Zadarius Smith, Rasul Douglas, also names to keep an eye out for. So, I think that any of those could be options, but the big one for me, Asante Samuel at cornerback, I think would be a really, really good in Brandon Staley's defense, especially due to the familiarity. Jaden, do you think or who do you think will win the RB2 spot, Kendre Miller or Devin Neal? I think it will be Devin Neal. What do you think will win that RB2 spot? Jaden, thank you for asking the question. Thank you for asking it and making the question very clear here. Who do I think is going to be the RB2? I do think it'll be Kendre Miller. Hot take, I'm going to say it's going to be Kendre Miller. Because if he can stay healthy and he can keep putting things together and he can learn the playbook, and he can prove to be the player that we all want him to be, then I think he's the RB2. But I think that right now it's RB2 is Kendre Miller. But that can very quickly change, especially if Devin Neal comes correct and comes prepared and stays healthy.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I'm definitely on board with, right now it's Kendre Miller, but I'm not saying your take is super hot. I do see a realistic world where Devin Neal is our number 2 running back week 1. And that's something I would be excited about.
Yeah, I could see Devin Neal taking over, but I do think Kendre Miller, for what it's worth, is a good running back when he's healthy. The best ability is availability. And if he can be available, then I think Kendre Miller will be the running back too. If Devin Neal beats him out, though, I'm not going to be surprised. For me, I'm going to say right now, it's Kendre Miller. I need to see a little bit in training camp before I say who's going to be the RB2 right this second. But in this moment, I'm going to say Kendre Miller. Baby Banks. That's pretty funny. That baby looks like Lopez after night 1 of the draft. Would you sign Amari Cooper? Hashtag Saints. In case you guys don't know what that is from draft video after Kelvin Banks got drafted. Yes, I would sign Amari Cooper. I would not break the bank on him, but I would sign him. I think it does make some sense. The Saints need a wide receiver. They need a veteran wide receiver, and I do think that he is a player who could be beneficial to have around, and I think he's always been a little bit of an underrated player and undervalued player. So for me personally, I think my answer is yes, but I want to ask you the same question. Would you sign Amari Cooper? Just type sign or pass in the comments section. Coop! Let me know what you guys would do. Bringing in the veteran wide receiver? I think so. Keith Mason, what up? Trizzy and Lopez, how about going for some well-paid wide receivers, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin? 2 things. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin will never choose to play for the New Orleans Saints. They will never make a decision consciously to play for the Saints.
I'll even take names out of this, just veteran, older receivers that are still good. I think maybe the Saints should try and steer clear of that right now.
That's fair.
You're building for the future. We've said this before. You're not winning a Super Bowl next year. Yeah. That's fine. Let's admit it.
Yeah.
Mike Evans, or a guy like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, how many more years do they have left of elite production?
Yeah, those are win-now moves.
Yes.
And the Saints are not in an operating win-now. DJ Moore is definitely interesting. That would be a really, really fun one.
He could be a future guy.
That would be a really good one. That all being said, actually, I was going to say, I don't know if the Bears would move on, but they drafted Luther Burden, and maybe they could be like, ooh.
I think DJ Moore is still the number 1 over there.
No, I think he is. But I think if they're like, we're actually pretty confident in our wide receiver group, and we could get a nice return on DJ Moore, I think they would listen to a call. I think he's a great
they'd be open.
I'm not saying that the Bears are actively shopping DJ Moore, but I could see a world where the Bears are comfortable with the wide receiver group they have, and DJ Moore could bring in a nice trade package in return, and that could intrigue the Bears. But Chris Godwin, Mike Evans will never play for the Saints, for what it's worth. And I don't think DJ Moore ever would either. Funny enough, all 3 of these guys, former NFC South players. At least current or former.
I'm about to say at least one of them's not there anymore.
Yeah, one of them isn't. Good question, though, Keith. Thanks for asking. Should we move Juwan Johnson to wide receiver? No! I'm going to say no, because 2 things. 1, if you move him to wide receiver, he's going to demand more money. 2, I don't think he is a wide receiver. I think he's a tight end. He's been working to learn how to be a tight end. He's been training and practicing blocking. He's been operating and working with other tight ends. He's been learning how to play the position better. He was a wide receiver in college, and he transitioned to tight end after signing as an undrafted free agent. So I can understand where the vision is there, but I don't think you need to move his position. Just line him up as a tight end and have a second one out there as well. I think that's totally fine. And plus, I don't think it's a bad idea to have a receiving big-body tight end that is just a dedicated receiving tight end. I don't think that that's a bad game plan for what it's worth. I'm going to say no to moving Juwan Johnson to wide receiver. Shuck the Falcons. Ball nowhere here. Could we get good value if we traded Spencer Rattler? Ooh. I do not mean to burst your bubble, Shuck the Falcons, but no. Considering no wins, more interceptions than touchdowns, it's a 5th-round pick, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. He would not get good trade value. He is a quarterback, so he does that have going for him. I think at best you're getting a 5th-round pick back. The best thing you can do if you want to increase his trade value is play Spencer Rattler during the preseason and try and trade him right before week 1. If he looks really, really good, maybe a team will trade for him. I just don't think you're going to get good trade value. And also, I want to see Spencer Rattler compete. I do. I still have faith in him. I have faith in whoever. Let me put it this way. I don't care who the quarterback is. I want to see just whoever it is take over and be the guy and be the clear-cut QB1. I think Spencer Rattler could do it. I think Tyler Shuck could do it. I think whoever the Saints have in the quarterback room has an opportunity to do it. So we'll have to see what happens. But no, I don't think Tyler Shuck will have a good, or Spencer Rattler will have good trade compensation whatsoever. Who will be the quarterback in week 1? Let me know. Derek Carr, maybe. Tyler Shuck, maybe. Probably. Spencer Rattler, uphill battle, but could be. What do you guys think? Who's going to be the quarterback in week 1? I want to hear from you. All right, if you guys want to get some jerseys, we have jerseys available. We have Spencer Rattler jersey. If you want to get a Spencer Rattler jersey, chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. We also have jerseys available for Kelvin Banks, jerseys for Tyler Shuck, and the other draft picks like Devin Neal and Danny Stutzman will be available as well soon. But we have throwbacks. We have home, away, men, women, children, color rush, whatever you want. Chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. Use the link in the comments or description. And if you're tuning in live, it's in the live chat. So be sure to click that and you can get yourself swagged out for this season. Chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. They're Nike. They're authentic. They come from Fanatics. So you know it's going to be a really good process all the way around. Use the link in the comments and description. Mere comment. Do you think with a full team of starters that Rattlers can be something great this year? First, I think he needs to get the opportunity to start or play. And whether that's him winning the quarterback battle or that's Tyler Shuck gets injured or that's they're up by a lot and he gets thrown in or they're down by a lot, he gets thrown in. He needs to get on the field first. So the first thing is, can he get on the field? If he does get on the field, Lopez, I do think that maybe he could be something great. I mean, he has a nice arm. He's got a rocket, to be honest. He's got a great arm.
Got a cannon.
He has some nice leadership skills. He has the ability to be somewhat mobile. He has some skills. But can he put it all together?
Not even going on skills, I will say Spencer Rattler is being thrown into, I don't want to say a shitty situation, but for a 5th-round quarterback, he's fighting an uphill battle already.
Yeah.
And this is year 2.
Well,
this is a perfect year basically for him.
For sure. And not to mention, the coaching staff that drafted him is gone. The New Orleans Saints have no ties to Spencer Rattler. The front office has been impressed and they really like Spencer Rattler. But the coaching staff right now has no ties to him. They have no loyalty. And with that, you also invested a 40th overall selection, 110 picks before Spencer Rattler in Tyler Shuck. So automatically, like you said, uphill battle. He's just got to get on the field. And I think the question shouldn't be, can he be great? I think the question is, can he get on the field?
And who's to say? Saints might go quarterback in 12 months.
Yeah.
We're back in April. We're looking at another quarterback.
Now, we're talking about, is Garrett Nussmeier starting? Like, is Drew Aller going to be our starting quarterback? Like, these are conversations we could be having 12 months from now.
Like, it sucks for Spencer Rattler, but this is the year where you're like, okay, I have to show something.
Yeah, no,
if
I
not,
totally
you're
agree.
gone.
I totally agree. I totally agree. If Spencer Rattler wants to continue to be playing football at a professional level, this is a prove it year for him. I hope he can prove it. I would love for it to work out and him be the Saints quarterback. If it's not, then that's okay. I would also love for Tyler Shuck to work out, but only one of them is going to be the starting starting quarterback. So, best of luck. Bring your Dukes. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a battle. Trizzy Lopez, how do you feel about getting Kyle Pitts? Falcons obviously don't know how to use him. 2 things. One, if the Falcons are willing to trade away this, not just the Falcons, if a divisional rival is willing to trade away a player to another divisional rival, Usually that's because they don't like him. Usually it's because they don't think it's very good, or because the trade compensation is just too hard to pass down. I'm going to say no, because the Falcons are going to make you pay for it. And although I agree with you, the Falcons don't know how to use him, and I do think he is a good football player, he's just in a shitty situation, like Lopez says. He ain't getting traded to the Saints. Why would they do that?
I know we're better than the Falcons.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Would we know how to use Kyle Pitts?
It's fair. It's fair. I mean,
our situation isn't great.
No, it's not. But for what it's worth, Kellen Moore has been known to appeal to the tight end position. He's been known to heavily lean on it and utilize that position in his offenses. So maybe it does make some sense to consider, and maybe it makes some sense to explore. But I'll tell you right now, if the Falcons agree to trade Kyle Pitts to the Saints,
that's a red flag.
Could not agree more. I was going to say that. My red flags immediately go up. It is not. I'm not celebrating. I'm immediately like, why would they do that? I'd be happy because he's a good football player, but I would be concerned first. Like Keith makes a good question. The one gorilla. Okay, who wins in a fight? 100 men or one gorilla? The gorilla wins, dude. That gorilla for sure wins. That gorilla is huge. Lopez, mic yourself up. Gorilla or 100 men?
That gorilla. The gorilla wins.
Okay.
No questions asked.
I agree. All right, the Saints need to sign Nick Chubb or J.K. Dobbins. That's actually interesting. That's actually an interesting thought there. Nick Chubb, he suffered a really, really bad knee injury a couple years ago. Returned to the Browns last year. Wasn't anything super duper duper special, but he is a player that still could maybe offer you something. Be a good RB2 behind Alvin Kamara if you don't have faith in Kendre Miller or Devin Neal, which I don't know how you wouldn't have faith in one of them. Or if they both get hurt or something. J.K. Dobbins also a little bit interesting to me. My just reservations lie where maybe they're just too injury prone. I don't want to deal with it necessarily, but definitely good names to look out. They're both available in free agency, and if the Saints want to add another running back, they should. I think they don't need to. I think you only needed to add one more, especially in the draft. I think you're okay in the running back department now, but who am I to say that you shouldn't go and do one? Like I do think if you go and get one of these players, especially when it comes down closer to roster cutdowns, maybe it makes some sense depending on how things shake out during training camp and how everything's looking. Out fans, thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. No matter where you are or how you're watching, we always appreciate the wnat Nation for taking some time out of their day to hang out with me and Loco Lopez. So for Loco Lopez, thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Y'all stay golden. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you next time. Boom. Queen Courtney says, we missed your question. What was the question, Queen Courtney? I didn't see it, Queen Courtney. Just have to sweep Atlanta. I thought ceiling was the best. Ceiling is the best. I don't see your question, Courtney. Did I scroll past it? Just ask it again. Sorry, if we didn't get to your question, we can't get to everybody because we do get a lot of them coming in. Over 2,000 people have tuned in today, 129 people watching right now. So I'm really, really sorry if we missed your question. Rook 10, don't sleep on Marcus Yarns. Good point. What was it? Yeah, we'll pop up the question real quick. Free agent wide receiver, you want a big and tall body that's slower or a speedy, smaller guy that might be shorter. I want a big-bodied, taller guy. That's what I want. I want a big-bodied, taller guy. For sure. That's what we need. You have a lot of speed. Like, don't forget, Chris Olave's fast as hell. He's fast as hell. Don't forget that. I like Chris Olave. No. Yes, we're talking about you, Sam Brown. Sam Brown, fastest wide receiver I've seen this side of Mississippi. Fun fact, Sam Brown actually probably could throw the ball further than Derek Carr.
Sam Brown would take down that gorilla.
There's a chance. Sam Brown, legitimately, he's not allowed to show him on screen because you're not allowed to show guns on YouTube on sports content, but literally a cannon for an arm. All righty. We're going to sign off. We're going to hop on out of here. We've had a great time. I have a family dinner I have to get to, so that's why we're doing no shot clock today. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting us during the draft weekend. Thank you for supporting us today. A lot of great content coming out this weekend. I will be in Arkansas for a wedding, just for what it's worth. So I'll be out of town, but if anything happens, I'll have my laptop. So we'll film a video. Any breaking news, we got you covered. Subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace. That's Loco Lopez. We'll see you later.